Hi, Vinay here. Today we will looking. Hey, hi, sir. So we were looking into this ID application side yesterday. So as we saw that for the ID application, we have to use this just BTD. For the configuration, we had given slash BTD slash config. For the configuration, we just need to enter slash BTD. So we can enter this one, or we can go to the configuration and there we have a URL. I can click on this URL and I can go to the application screen. So both the ways are there. So usually we give this only slash btd to anyone like who wants to access the application. So which will take us to this screen where we can enter the username and password. So once we log in, it will show me like all the applications which are active. So as of now for me like 2 applications are there which are active. So that's why both are showing up. So we have created this application tk5_ors. So we'll click on this and we will logging into this application. So yesterday we had seen this part queries. So we had clicked on the queries and we had created 2 queries here, one for the customer, one for the address, and we had seen the customer. So creating a query, like if you click on this drop down, you'll get this option as new standard query. So if you click on this, it will show you like all the subject areas that we had created, subject area and subject area group, child and the grandchild, everything will get displayed. So we can click on a particular subject area like customer or address. These are my 2 subject areas, and under those subject areas I will see like whatever the subject area, this is my child, and if I have configured the other level as grandchild, all those will come here. And then we can select the columns, like for customer I want a particular thing like customer name column, and similarly for address I need some columns. So this is given by the business. Business tells us basically like based on what column they want to search for anything. Like if they want to search customer, what columns they need. So they will tell us that if I want to search a customer, I will use first name, middle name, last name column, and like address line 1 and city, state, zip. I need all these columns. So usually we log in as an admin user. We will create the queries and keep it, so that any non-admin user who logs in will be able to reuse these queries. So suppose like here we are selecting these columns. After selecting these columns, I can use this sort, that I want to sort based on a particular column like customer name. And usually we make this as case sensitive. And if you click on OK, the query will get created here. But we need to save this query. So again, we have to click on this drop down and click on save. So this is the option public query. If you click on this public query, then any user who logs into the MDM application will be able to see this query and execute it. And make this my default query is like whenever I click on this query section, I want this query to be displayed. So like this, we will be creating the queries for all the base objects, whatever base objects we have. For everyone, the query has to be created. And once the query is created, I can go click on this search saved queries, and I can see the queries. So one query is for customer and one for address that we had created yesterday. I can see both of them. I can click on any one of them, like I want customer. So click on open and it will open the query for customer. Similarly, if I click on address and open query, it will open the query for address. And as we discussed yesterday, that this is like wildcard search. We can put some search F percentage, because all our names first name start with F percentage. And now like whatever things we are seeing here is from the base object table directly. We have like 5 records in my table, so all the 5 records are coming here So we can click on a particular record and then open. So this will show us that what is the base object record, and if there is a child associated with it, it will show the child also. So this address is customer is associated with one address. So I am able to see the address, and this is the relationship table data it will show. So similarly, if I had configured the grandchild also, I would be able to see the grandchild also. So this one we had configured, and on the top tab you can see F6 is coming. F6 is coming because in the configuration we have added one label for the first name, that whatever is the first name, that should get appended into the label. So that's why on the top tab F6 is coming. And similarly, we can go and edit the record, like we can edit the customer record. So while editing the customer record, as we saw here, the customer name is read only because we have made this as a read only column, because I don't want anyone to insert any value here. I want that whatever first name, middle name and last name values we have provided, based on that it should get automatically populated through a cleanse function. So that configuration we had did in the configuration side. So any changes that we make here will get reflected in the customer name. So I'm just changing this middle name and the last name column and clicking on the apply button. So it shows like the color changes for the column, so we can easily identify that what are the columns which has changed. And here you can see customer name is a concate of first name, middle name and last name column. Basically it is making everything in uppercase and it is concatenating them into the customer name column. And the name also we have changed it. The customer name, like we had changed in the properties file, previously it was full name and we had replaced full name with customer name. So that change is also coming here. So after doing this, we can click on the save and save this record. So this save is happening directly at the base object level. So this is the customer record on the top, and on the down we have an address record. So this address that we have configured as a child, we have configured as a part of. So if I want, I can go and edit the address record directly. I can come here, edit the address record. I can make changes anywhere and I can save this. Even I can add a new address if I want to add a new address for this customer, or I want to delete this address. I can do all these changes because I have configured it as a part of. So if you configured anything as a part of, you can edit it directly here. You can add, if you add a new address, the address record will also get created, plus the relationship will also get created between both customer as well as the address. And this view, like we discussed, so initially whenever you open, it will be in a table view. So it will come like this. So if we have like lot of columns, like 50-60 columns in our address table, and I want to see all the columns, in that case I need to switch to this form view so that I can see all the columns here, because in the table view it shows very limited number of columns. So that's why usually we switch it to the form view so that I can see all the columns properly. And then we had seen this one, open hierarchy, that if we click on the open hierarchy, it will show me the hierarchy as we have seen in the MDM also. So same thing which we had seen from hierarchy manager, same thing we can see from here also. Other thing which we can do here is like, and other things that we saw was the xref. So in the xref we can see the records here. So initially, like, we had loaded the data from the CRM system, and later we had changed updated with the admin system. So we had made changes to the customer name, middle name and last name column. So here we can see on the top like what values are present. So based on that we can easily identify. Not sure why it is not coming. Usually the color comes, whatever color is there which we see on the down, the same color appears on the top. So it is easy to identify that which record from which system has been promoted into the master record. I'm not sure why this is not coming as of now. So that's an XREF record. I can come here and see the XREF. Similarly, if history is enabled, I can see the history of that particular base object. So history is not present for this date, so it is not showing any date here. And similarly matches, in case there are any matches present in the match table, MTCH table, it will show that here. But there are no matches present, that's why it is not showing anything here. So similarly, let us go and open the address one. So for the address, if you go to the address, we have configured address and customer as reference. So now we will open this address record, search address, and click on open query. So now it is showing me all the addresses here, and I can open a particular address and see the address and then the customer. So now like if you see, if I am trying to edit it, I am not able to edit anything, because we have configured this as a reference. So if I configure a child as a reference, I will not be able to edit it here. I cannot edit anything here. But when I was in the customer table here, go back to the customer. So this is the customer. When I was in the customer, I was able to edit the address record. I am able to add a customer record or even delete the customer record. All these options are present here, because this relationship between customer and address we have configured as part of. So in part of, you can edit and do anything. I can even delete it. If you press on this option, drop down, you will get this option, new, edit and delete. So you can do any of the operations. But if you go to the address, under address I have configured customer as reference. So in the reference I can just see the values. I cannot edit anything, and I cannot do anything here. It shows like in the drop down new, but that is searching the customer. So what you can do is, it is just a reference. So I want, for example, I have this address is associated with customer 1. I want that this address should be associated with some other customer also. So I want two customers basically. In this case, I can go and edit. As you saw, edit, it is not allowing to edit anything, but if I go to the new, I can search for a particular customer. So suppose it is already associated with customer 1, I will select like 20001 and click on OK. So you can see now we have two records. This entity has been created, but it is not saved. So now I will click on the apply and then save it. So now this address is associated with two customers, customer 1 and customer 20001. So this is just a reference. I can reference it, means I can add something, but I cannot edit the data here. If you want to edit the data like customer name, first name, middle name, last name, you will have to go to the customer and then edit the record. So that is the difference between reference and part of, which we configure between two base objects which have many-to-many relationship between them. Okay, so these are, and similarly, for example, again after this open hierarchy, there is a drop down which is a copy basically. So for example, you already have this record where I have one customer which is associated with one address, and now I want to copy this, means I want to create a new customer which is nearly same to this. So I can use this option and copy it. So if I copy it, you can see again this is copied here in the form, and I have the customer record and I have the address record. So if you want, I can just click go to edit and edit the records here, and after editing I can save it. So now you can see this is coming here. The system has identified potential matches for this entry. Please review and select an option to proceed. So how this is coming here? This is coming because we have set up the match rule in our IDD configuration, and that match rule is based on first name and last name, these two columns. So for this record, because we have done a copy, so the first name and the last name is same, we have not changed the first name and last name, so it is showing that this is a duplicate record. So this it will show if you have configured in the IDD. If you have not configured, this option will not come. So now I can review it. I can say that no, whatever record I am creating is same. Then I can just cancel it. Or I can say that no, I want to proceed and create a new record. So I can just click on proceed and it will create a new record here. So here a new record is created, and even the address is created, and also the relationship is created. So everything is copied. So this is basically so we have seen the cleanse that we have set up. So cleanse is working. When we click on the apply button, match is also working. When we create any duplicate record, it is giving us a warning message that it is a duplicate record, and plus the label is also working. So whatever records we have opened, the label comes on the top. So these are the main things that we will be doing. Usually adding a record, no one adds a record here. Mostly it is for editing the record itself or viewing the data. Other things is like, let us like, as of now we, like whenever we are opening the record, usually we get like duplicate potential matches on the down. There, in case you have run the match process and there are duplicate records, on the down one more tab will come which will say that these are potential matches, like one is matching with this particular record. So as of now we have not run the match, so it is not giving us, so that is fine. So if you have to merge records, for example I want to merge two records, so what I will do, I will select both of them. So here we are forcefully merging the records, so it is not like based on the match process. I am forcefully going to match the record. So I am selecting both the records, these two records. We'll do a right click, compare. So this I want to just show you that when the data stewards get the task, they can see the record side by side, and they can decide which record to be promoted into the master record. So like this, I have selected two records. I can select all the records also, because if you remember when we went to the merge manager, at that time we had very less, or let us select three records. In the merge manager, we can merge only two records at a time. I cannot merge three records or more than two records at a time. But that's not a limitation in IDD. I can select any number of records and I can merge them. So here all the three records that I have selected is now appearing here. And now what I can do is I will select both of them one by one. So I will select this record and then this record. So now you can see the final merge preview. This is MDM basically, because MDM is doing automatically based on the consolidation process. So whenever we are going and trying to merge the duplicate records, I can see the merge preview, which row ID is surviving. So I cannot change the row ID here. Row ID will be the same, like 20001 is the surviving row ID, and these are the columns which are getting survived. So if you say that, for example, customer name, I want to survive some other value. I want like this value, whatever value I have in F20000001, I want this value to be survived, not this one. In this case, what we have to do is click on this button, that is the override button. Oh, this is not an editable column, so okay, because customer name we had made it as non-editable column, so that's why it is not allowing me to give an option. So that is fine, we will do it for some other column. We will do it for the first name. Click on the first name. So on the first name, this, so trust score, you can see trust score is not there for any of the record, means on trust is not applied on this particular column, so it is showing trust as 0. And if the trust is not there, then basically it will go for the SRC delivery date. So here we can select, for example, I want F5 to be promoted, and click on OK. So F5 will get promoted here. So basically the data steward has just has an option that if he feels that something wrong is getting promoted, he can promote the correct value. And similarly, this is my customer record. Similarly, I can see all the address record also. So here I can see whatever are the addresses associated. So all these addresses will also get merged in this one. So this customer 20001 is associated with like 3 addresses. So I can see all these 3 addresses here on the down. Whereas customer 20002 is associated with 1 address, and customer 20003 is not associated with any address. So finally you can see whatever ID is set, 4 addresses are associated. So because that change will automatically happen because all the records are getting merged. So the new record which is surviving in the base object will be associated with 4 addresses. So this we can see it clearly here. I cannot modify the address because I am not making changes for the address. I am in the customer base object. So I can modify only the customer data. Means I can select which customer record has to be promoted into the master record. And after selecting this, I can go ahead and merge the records. So on the right hand side in the actions, we have this merge option. So in merge it, all the records, these 3 records will merge in 20001. So the records are merged now. If you want to see that, you can go to the cross reference and you can see the data here. So on the down you can see the row ID object will be same only because all of them are merged. But using the PK source object, you can identify like F5, F6, F7. So initially 3 records were there which are merged now. And if you go to the search customer, I will see if I do a search again, here you can see it is grayed out now. So if I do a search again, I will have only 3 records. So now like we see all the records are merged, so we have only like 20001 here in my base object level. So that's basically a merge. If you have done a merge, I can see here color. I'm not sure, like usually color comes up maybe due to some problem. Color is not coming, otherwise we can easily identify based on the color that which record is promoted into the master record. But not sure why it is not showing colors here now. Everything is like grayed out. So that's basically merge. When I want, I can directly go select a record or merge it, or when I have run the match process, MNAME will show that these are the potential duplicate records. I can select all the duplicate records and I can merge them using the merge that we just did. Similarly, unmerge, if you want to unmerge the records, in this case what you have to do is you have to reference table, and suppose like this is the record that you want to merge, unmerge basically. So if you want to unmerge this record, you have to do a right click here and you will get these options: cross reference only and cross reference with lineage. So cross reference only, it is a normal unmerge or linear unmerge, and this is basically the tree unmerge. So as of now we don't need a tree unmerge here because just we don't have any tree here. We just have a normal merge that we have done. That you can decide like based on the looking at the data. If you want to do a tree unmerge, you can go for the second option. If you want to do a normal unmerge, you can use the first option. So here I will use this option, cross reference only. So here you can see the record is removed from the cross reference table because that has been unmerged. And now I can go back to the search screen and I can see the record. So now you can see this record is coming up here. So like this we can do the merge and unmerge scenario here. So that's the main three things which are done here in the IDD side. Basically merging the record, unmerging the record, and editing the records. So these are the things, plus couple of more things are there. The first thing that we next see is export option. So if you want to do an export, basically, for example, if I open this record, so I have an option here. If you click on this drop down, this will give me an option to export the record. So this is export at a column, this record level. Basically I want to export only this record, so I can use this export option. So this is the first time that we are doing, so it is saying that export profile is not created. You can create a profile or load a profile. So you can just create a new profile and make that as a public or private. So under this profile, we have to select the columns. That what are the columns I want to do an export with? Columns from address table, columns from the customer table. So we can select which columns I need and I can move it on the right hand side. Very simple. You can move everything here, address, customer, everything, and then click on export, that I want to do an export for everything. So this will come here as a CSV file. I can open this and I can see all the data here. So it takes everything. It on the first, it have all the customer record, and then we will have the address record. So this is my customer, and then I have this address data. So customer is present here in one line, and then I have 3 addresses. So this customer is associated with 3 addresses. So like this we can easily identify the data. Basically, if you have to export and give it to anyone, you can use this option to export everything, customer as well as the associated address. Or you can do, because this is at a record level, if you want to do it for multiple records, that also we can do. So for that, what we have to do is we have to go to the search screen. This is my search customer. So here I can select, like, I want, for example, 3 records. These 3 records I want to do an export. So if you select these records and then do a right click, in the export it gives you 2 options, all the results or selected records. So we have selected 3 records, we will just do it for those records. If you select all, then whatever results it is getting displayed after the search, everything will get exported. We can use this itself for all the results. So this will take only the customer. It will not take the address here or other tables. So that is the difference basically. If you are doing from the search screen, so because search we are doing only for the customer, so I can see only the customer data. I cannot see the address data here, or I cannot export the address data. If you want to export the child table as well, you will have to open the particular record and then you need to export it. So if I click now export, it will export all these columns. So here you can see all the columns or all the records from the customer basically have been exported here. So this is basically an export option that we can use to export the data and send it to like anyone who needs a particular data. So they will tell their requirement that I need a specific data, where, like, for example, customer type equals to P or customer type Q. So based on that criteria, I will do a search and I will export the data and give it to him. So that's an export option that we can export. Now one last thing that we'll see here is the import option. Nowadays, like, what is the trend is like that, not trend, I can say not everywhere it is there. Means some companies that I have seen, what they are saying that, see, there are usually a lot of lookup tables that we have in the MDM. Very big implementations might have 30-40 lookup tables. So in this case, they say that lookup table is just a static table. We can do it for both the tables. I can use an import feature for both the lookup tables as well as the static table, lookup table as well as the business table. But usually we do it for the static tables. If you want, you can do it for the business tables also. So as of now, we will do it for the business tables itself. So I'm just telling you the scenario, like, if we have like so many, like 20-30 lookup tables we have in our ORS, and we know that lookup tables are just one time insert. So for just inserting one time, we have to create landing tables, we have to create staging tables, we have to create a mappings. So these 3 things we have to create. Base object is required, that is a mandatory, but we have to create staging tables, we have to create landing, we have to create mapping for all these 20 lookup tables. So that is unnecessary, because we are not going to use it again. It is not going to be updated again. It's very rare that we are updating. So why you have to create so many tables? Unnecessary. It will look like a lot of tables are there. So instead of that, they say that we can use this import feature and import it. So what is the difference is, I don't have to create a landing table, I don't have to create a staging table, and I don't have to create a mapping. I can directly import the data from a CSV file. So that's basically the advantage. So we will reuse this, like this is the Excel sheet that is prepared. So using this only we will use an export. So we'll see like how to do an import. So first, before going and trying to do an import, we have to create an XML file which is called as like import profile. I'm just open this XML file. So we have to create this XML file. So this is the import profile. We have to give import profile. This is basically the starting and the ending tag. Then we have to give a display name, like anything like import customer profile. So we need to give a display name and the name. You can give any name. And then we have to specify the subject area name. The subject area name should be matching exactly as it is like what we have in our tables. So we'll go back to the configuration screen and see like what is the name of my subject area. The subject area is like customer, but we'll just go and check it. Here it is showing customer only, SA customer. So this is the name. Subject area name is SA customer. So we have to use the same name. If we use some other name, we will not be able to import it. So we'll go back to this XML file and we'll just modify it. Subject area name as SA customer. And then we have to add all the columns which I want to import in order basically. So we have to use like column index equals to 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 based on the column, and then we have to specify the table name or the base object name and the column name. So we'll go back to the tables and see what is the name of my base object. Okay, this is the name C underscore customer 1. So this is the name of my base object. So I'll copy this name. And these are the values that I am passing: first name, middle name, last name, name generation, and customer class. These are the 5 columns. So now like whatever, this is my CSV file. I need to prepare a CSV file. So I'll just save it on the desktop and then we'll modify this. Okay, we need these columns only: first name, middle name, last name, name generation, and the customer class. And here you can change the values so that there is no duplicate value present here. So this is the CSV file. So I have first name, middle name, last name, name generation, and the customer class. And the order has to be exactly same. So here also I have first name, middle name, last name, name generation, and the customer class in my XML file. So I can open this in the text pad also. So if I open in text pad, I can see the values here. Basically this is the CSV format. It is separated by a comma. So now what's the next step is, we have to go to the configuration and we have to import this XML file. So I will go to the application, and like yesterday we have seen like how to import any file into this application. So we have to use this import feature, import to existing IDE application. So under this, if you go to the end, you will see there is a data import template. So select this data import template, and then we have to select this, the configuration file. So now that file is imported and we can just redeploy the application. So now like once we log into the application, we will see some changes. So now let us log into the application again. It is not coming. Okay, some cache problem, it is going directly there. So usually like once we import the profile, here we get import master data. So in the import master data, I can browse and select that particular file and I can import it. Probably I'm doing some mistake, because of that it is not coming up. Okay, somehow it is not coming, so I will show you tomorrow like why it is not coming. We'll check it that and let you know. Otherwise, any other questions you have in the IDD side? So one more thing is that remaining is the workflow. Basically, we have to see workflow, and that is ActiveOS. So this is the document for the ActiveOS. ActiveOS is basically used for the workflow engine. So in the previous version, like this was introduced like in the previous version itself, from 9.7.1 version of MDM it was introduced, not 9.7, I think 9.6 only. It was introduced in 9.6 version of MDM, and 9.6 version was very rarely used by very less companies used them because they had a lot of issues. So the major stable version after 9.5.1 was 9.7.1 of MDM. So in that we had ActiveOS, but companies were not using it. They were using the default workflow engine itself. But from 10 version, they have made it as mandatory that we have to use ActiveOS as a workflow engine. So workflow is basically like in IDD we can configure two levels of workflow here. One is like if I create a record, I can send it directly for final approval, or that's basically one level approval process. And two level approval process is like if I create a record, send it to review, and then that person reviews it and send it for the final review. So these are the two levels we can configure for the workflow. So in the previous we had a Cyprian workflow engine which was doing the same task. Now basically they had acquired a company as Active Endpoint, and they have renamed it like Informatica ActiveOS. We have integrated that with MDM now, and the main advantage why they are using ActiveOS as a workflow engine, that it is configurable basically, so that not company will go for those many configurations as such, because as of now like whatever two companies I work for version 10, they are using the default workflow engine also. So Informatica has provided a default workflow engine which is similar to the Cyprian engine we had in the previous version. So it works similar to that. But if a customer want to customize it, if he says that no, I want 3-level approval process or 4-level approval process to be there, in that case, there is an ActiveOS designer. They can purchase that designer license separately, and they can customize the workflow. Whatever Informatica has provided the workflow, they can extend it and make it 3-level or 4-level. They can import back and they can use it. So that customization has come here in the new version in case it is required. So this is ActiveOS basically. So if you get time, just go through this document. So this ActiveOS is basically installed when we install the MDM. As a part of installation only, this gets installed, or we can install it separately also. So before, like, this is the first step where we create the ActiveOS schema. So like we had created an ORS using like import underscore ORS and create underscore ORS. Similarly, we have for this we use like create underscore BPM. That's the command which is used. So create underscore BPM basically creates the ActiveOS schema. So these steps are mentioned here. So once we create the ActiveOS schema, then basically we do a lot of changes here. So this is the step basically. So when we install MDM, this option comes. So do we want to install ActiveOS? So we need to give the path of the ActiveOS where it is, the exe file basically where it is present, and the folder basically where we want to extract and install it, and then all the connection parameters. So whatever the ActiveOS schema we have created on the top using the create underscore BPM, we will give all these details here. And this is the default URL, localhost:8080 or IP:8080. So once we do this part, basically the ActiveOS will be installed. So that's with the MDM installation. And if you want to install it separately, then also the steps are mentioned here. That what you have to do, you need to extract this exe file under a particular folder, and then you need to install it basically. So when you install it, it will give you these options. So basically we are installing it for the JBoss, so we'll give the JBoss option, and then the location where we need to install the ActiveOS. So these all the steps are there basically, which will install the ActiveOS into the MDM in case it is not installed with the MDM. And there is also option given for the ActiveOS designer in case you want to install the designer. If you have a license for designer, we can install the designer also in case we need some customizations to be done. So after we have done all these things, we have to create like an ActiveOS admin user. So basically all the users that we create in MDM, and MDM basically we will be creating all the users, like for we have data stewards, manager, senior manager. These are the 3 roles which are supported by ActiveOS. So we will be creating all those roles, 3 roles, and all the users will be assigned to those roles. So whatever username and password we create in the MDM, using the same username and password, we have to come to the JBoss installation directory. So this is the JBoss installation directory, and under that we have a bin path. So we need to go there and run this command add user.bat. And using this, we have to create all the users which we have created in MDM in the JBoss also. So these, if you come down, these are the task type basically. So AB task client, if anyone is having this AB task client role, he can see the task. AB admin is basically an admin user, and AB service consumer is, if anyone is assigned this role, then he will be able to process the tasks. So these are the roles basically. If you are creating any admin role, you can just copy paste it, and while creating the users in JBoss, it will ask what are the roles you want to give. So you can just use these roles. That is sufficient enough. And then for ActiveOS, we have a different console basically. So that is like again localhost, the host name / port name is again 8080 and / ActiveOS. So this will take us to the ActiveOS screen, where again we need to do some configuration before we can use the workflow. So just go through this. We will discuss it again tomorrow completely, and we'll so see like the ActiveOS workflow. We'll create some records and send it for approval to the manager and then to the senior manager, and we'll see like how the complete process works. Yes, anyone has any questions? Okay, so we'll end the today's session, and we'll continue tomorrow with that. So probably tomorrow we'll be completing this IDD part once we go through the workflow, and then one thing will be remaining, that is the SIF part. So that will be starting next week. The SIF and this project discussion and the interview questions. So all the projects and interview questions are also there on the shared path. So just go through it so that once we discuss it, you can let me know like what are the questions you want to discuss, so we can go through it instead of going through all the questions. And if you have any list, that is also good. We can discuss on those questions also. Okay, thanks everyone.